During the 60s, the Philippines was next only to Japan among our Southeast Asian neighbors.
Mhm.
Philippines had a thriving manufacturing industry in steel, textiles, and chemicals, and was the first choice of the international business companies to set up manufacturing industries in Asia. Now, even Vietnam has two integrated steel mills and has overtaken Philippine economy. The local industries were protected from imports that could destroy the viability of local industries. The Filipinos have to go abroad to adequately support their families, and as a result, families are separated, and many of us cannot live together with our families. Manufacturing create jobs. Will you revive the industrialization and domestic manufacturing in the country and give protection against damaging imports, just like developed countries protected their industries when they were starting?
We will. The next administration will have to uh, revive the industrialization drive that was started maybe in the 70s. Really, we have to continue that. Our manufacturing, if you look at the history, the economic history of many of our neighbors, they became wealthy and economically strong because of trade. And trade means that you are trading something. And if we are not manufacturing anything, and our manufacturing sector has really been diminished in the past few years for many reasons, not no fault to the investors or to the businessmen who would like to continue the manufacturing sector and to enlarge it. So if the manufacturing sector has shrunk, then we have to really go back and redesign that part of our economy, for the simple reason that if we want to be involved in trade, then we have to have something to trade with. We are at present very dependent on the service sector, the OFWs, and uh, all of the many opportunities that are being given to Filipinos abroad. This has changed from what was started as seafarers and then professionals and the skilled labor to now we encompass the entire range. So that is something that we need to address very, very clearly. And manufacturing is a very important part of that. So whatever the next administration will be, it will have to look into that. And because the critical element here are jobs, really. When you look at the recovery of the economy and you talk to people and you ask, are you happy with how we responded to the pandemic, or what do you think about the pandemic? They always come back down to jobs and no income, walang sweldo, walang pera, walang pambayad sa kuryente, walang pambayad sa tubig. Yun ang mga problema ng mga Pilipino ngayon. Kaya what we really have to do is to bring back those jobs. And many of those will be in manufacturing. Many of those will be in the service industries like tourism, where many of those will be in support of the MSMEs, the small businesses that were hit very hard. And again, the infrastructure development, all of that has to come into play if we are going to revive and reshape the economy in the direction that the global economy is going. So yes, that is something that will be absolutely a priority for the next administration. And the creation of jobs will be the first in line in terms of priorities. And in the long term, however, we need to there are many ways to ask investors to come to the Philippines, but we have heard many of the chambers of commerce or potential investors saying that we need also to fix our systems here in the Philippines. Our bureaucracy has to become more meritocratic so that they can handle all of these new arrangements that we are hoping to come to. The question of energy and the availability and the price of power and the reliability of that supply is always called into question. The ease of doing business in our country is something that also has to be addressed. You quoted Vietnam. I have many friends who have invested in Vietnam, and they say that they talk to officials in the evening over dinner, and by breakfast time, all the documentation is prepared. And that's how easy it is to do business, how easy it is to invest in places like Vietnam. And that is something that we have to catch up to. And so there's a great deal of work to do on our end. If we are going to expect to industrialize, to once again revive trade, to revive as a manufacturing industry, but it also brings us to the question of agriculture. The agricultural sector has to remain as the base of our economy. We're still an agricultural economy at the heart of it. And I think the pandemic showed very, very clearly that importation is something that is a little precarious for us, because when the ships weren't traveling, when we could not import the food, we did not have enough supply. And the reason we did not have enough supply is because our production was insufficient. Our production was insufficient because we haven't developed our agricultural sector to keep up with the demand in the country. And that is something that will have to be immediately addressed